We right? I probably should start and say that there was an incident after the game where I had some words with a Hawthorn player that I wish I hadn't had in a moment that I shouldn't have had. But it was an emotional game, a big result. There was stuff said during last week that I certainly didn't enjoy, but I shouldn't have let that moment get to me.
Sam just said he won't look to speak to you. How will you look to apologise to the Hawks after that incident?
I think I've basically now made it known to them and through this that I shouldn't have approached the moment that I did. But again, what was done during the week was done, and I responded to it in an emotional state, which shouldn't be the case.
From now, will you try and speak to Jack and James after what happened?
No, I don't think so, because I don't think at the moment it's the right time for me to have that conversation with anyone. I should just reflect on the moment.
After Jack's social media comment, how much did you use that to spur your players on during the week?
Fair bit, and that's probably what got to the point it did. I found it, we as a footy club found it a little bit disrespectful, and that's why it gets to where it gets.
Is that any different to you as your press conference saying, I'll see you next week? Is there any difference in the line there with what Jack said on social media?
No, I would see you next. That's what I was hoping for, that I'd see you next week. I was asked. That was said to me walking out. I wasn't.
Is that not what Jack was saying, though, in his comment? Like, was it quite flippant in what Jack was saying?
I'm not sure. We as a footy club just didn't enjoy that comment, but that's okay. Everyone has their right to speak freely.
What did you say?
Sorry?
What did you say?
That should just stay private. No need to keep going. There was a pretty good game of football, I think.
And you obviously regret those comments. Do you also regret that it's obviously taken a bit of the gloss off what was a courageous win by your club?
Yeah, I regret the comment. That's probably where I should stay, and should have stayed out of that comment, but I didn't.
Is that part of the Ken Hinkley experience? We saw you after the Saints, and when it's emotional, you're emotional, and you wear your heart on your sleeve.
Just goes to show that everyone can get better, and I'm trying to still get better.
I know you don't like to, rate wins or something like that, but I mean, surely that's one of your finest moments as a Port Adelaide coach, the win.
Well, certainly a really big win, obviously, for us this year, and we've been through a lot, but after the response for the boys to be able to bounce back like they did in a high-pressure game, it was a really good game of footy and tough game of footy, and Hawthorn have certainly been hard work for everyone to try and beat, and to do what we were able to do tonight was a great performance.
Is there a moment during the week where you come off an 80-point loss in a qualifying final and you got a look from the players or something jumped up that you thought these guys will be on tonight?
I think we prepared really well for the game. We knew what we had to take away from Hawthorn. I thought we did that really well, and we had to stick really strongly to that plan. And most of that was around contest and pressure, because they've been elite at that right through. But we were able to stop some parts of their game that they've thrived off this for the back half of this year particularly.
Chase Burgoyne, was that a sort of breakout game?
No, he's had a couple. It's been pretty good at big games this year. That was obviously that's a final, and cutthroat final and he had to go back to half back, and stand up and play a role. He was pretty proud of the way he played.
Have you been weighing that up since Dan got suspended? I mean, what was the kind of balance between playing on the wing and putting him in half back?
We were forced to weigh it up. We'd lost Dan, then we lost Faz, and then we lost Ryan only yesterday. So we were looking for some answers. We knew we had to probably stay as dynamic as we could around the ball to try and get the ball our way, and to do that meant we had to put someone else in a different position that they haven't played in much this year.
You got, I guess, Jace returning to defence after playing there for maybe his first couple of years at Port. Josh Sims barely played because of injury. Logan Evans also, mid-season draftee, very experienced defender.
Yeah,
must
it was.
be really happy with how they stood up on the big stage.
Yeah, we're really happy. because Hawthorn small forwards have been enormous, and there were some very good ones out there again tonight. But it was a pretty young back line. I thought Aaliyah and Thatch did an outstanding job to keep them together, and Miles, almost the mature one down there, along with those two. So when Miles and Lockie and Sydney and Jace, it's pretty young.
Yeah, cramp for Jason Horne-Francis at the end? Or
it was a pretty good one though.
Yeah, injury concerns.
No, just a cramp, and when he'd run himself into the ground a bit, I think that's what happened. And you use some anxiety, extra energy when you're playing a final, and you'll be mindful of that when you're in your preparation. But it was a pretty big cramp.
Did you point through the Charlie Dixon situation pre-game? When did you know him? What was it really just?
He tried to. If you heard earlier, you would have seen him out in the ground trying to do some stuff, but he just wasn't physically well enough. He was ill, so he just couldn't get through the game.
Has he been carrying that since Freo? Freo?
Well, he was crook. We pulled him out of Freo because he was sick. He recovered, was okay, but as anyone that's had any viruses in the last few years, they can come back and they can get you again. We're hopeful that he'll be more than okay next week.
At what stage?
Was he carrying it last week against Carlton?
No, he was fine last week. So it's a reoccurring situation because, as you see, you were at training all the week. He trained through the week. But as he got through the week later, he was starting to get a bit worse and even said to me yesterday that I'm really struggling. I said, well, let's wait and see what happens when you get close to the game.
At what stage in the lead up did you plan to put Burn-Jones forward again?
Early in the week.
Throughout the whole game, the desperation of the players was pretty obvious, particularly that last quarter. The amount of smothers and 1%ers and guys getting the footy was pretty extraordinary, and there are a lot of guys out on their feet in that last 5 minutes. Where does that drive and that ability to dig deep come from, do you think?
I think there's such a prize on the end of it for them, for both clubs, and both clubs should be proud of the way that game was played. It was a really tough game of footy, and you've got to just keep going right to the very end, and that was what it was like. You have to get right to that last moment, and you have to be desperate right to the last moment.
What's going through your head in those frantic last few minutes, given there is such a prize, but there's obviously such a fallout as well?
Yeah, wouldn't think it, would you? But I'm pretty calm. Once the siren goes, it's different, but I'm pretty calm because I know I have to be calm at that moment, and I need to make sure the structure stuff we're going to have to use is really in place.
When Sicily's got that kick going, is there a hard enough moment at some point?
Yeah, it's a beautiful kick. He's a great player, but I'm just hoping he misses. I'll be honest. That's what I'm doing. I'm sitting there crossing everything I've got, saying miss, please. But we were lucky he missed. I think he hit the post, didn't he? Yeah. It's a fine margin.
Going back to Josh Steen, I mean, high draft, he hasn't played a lot because of injury and just been out of 10. How happy, how nice of a moment is for you to see him do well in his first final and get his chance? Yeah,
we've had a lot of optimism around Josh. We think he's going to be a really good player for a long period of time. He played not that long back down at Geelong and he broke his collarbone, and unfortunately that's when he was starting to get going, we thought, and then he gets interrupted with the collarbone for 4 or 5 weeks. Then he had a little bit of a quad or something that was a bit tight, so he missed another couple. So he just hasn't had continuity, and if he gets continuity, he's a long-term prospect at AFL footy.
Now you can reflect on it. Do you feel like the noise around your future this week seeped into the playing group at all?
No, I don't think so. I think we're a mature enough club that we know it's part of the territory that goes with it, and I understand the language around it because I have been around a long time. It's just a bit more matter of fact around what footy is sometimes.
Do you feel like they may have had that extra little desire to get the win for you?
No, not for me. For us as a footy club, and I said that in my presser. I think this club's known for its fight and willingness to keep having a crack, and I thought they did that really well. I think the whole club this week, I think everyone in the whole footy department was really in tune with what we needed to do, and we're going to give ourselves a great chance.
We often see after these really brutal close semi-finals, the prelim final can be a tough slog backing up the next week. So how do you make sure that the guys don't then have that trough? You've obviously had plenty of preliminary final experience yourself, but then getting this young group up for that.
Maybe I just need to take a moment to think a little bit about what we should do after tonight. We should celebrate tonight because they're hard to get. I mean, we know firsthand how tough and difficult it is to get through. So they're hard to get. So we'll enjoy tonight a little bit, and then we'll maybe get ourselves tuned back in. But all I can say to that, when you play this game and you're involved with this game for a long period of time, you know the importance of a prelim final. It doesn't guarantee you anything, but gives you a chance, and we're going to be willing enough to take on that chance.
In terms of Zach, Zach was always going to be good to go. Is he going to be something he's going to be nursing throughout this final series, or he should be even better for the run coming into next week?
I think he should be better again. I mean, he's had a little bit of an issue for a little period of time, so every week he gets through without another big hit, or it didn't look like he was worried about too many big hits out there. I've got to say, he was going after it, but he should be fine.
Just parking the last quarter for Jason Horne-Francis. Looks like he was a bit sore with a quad or a groin on the other side, approaching 3/4 time, and you moved him to full forward to start the last quarter. Is that any concern?
No, I don't think so. About any players getting sore during a game, but I think Jason was more around fatigue than anything else. I think he snapped a goal in the last quarter. Yeah, which would have found out there was any issues. Probably he would have not been able to do that. So no, I think he'll be okay, but I'll wait and see, like we do with every game.
Is Kane Farrell a sneaky chance for a prelim kick?
Seen him, because I paused, probably that means maybe yes. But we won't. We just can't take an unnecessary risk at that stage. He's running pretty well, but wait, look, all that information will come out through the week.
How likely is Charlie to come straight back in?
Well, we'll wait and see. I mean, the team tonight performed the way it did. We'll have to assess all the people, all the players, who's available, who's well, who's not, and make some decisions on what we need in the team.
Oh, just Todd Marshall as well, so can you take us through?
Yeah, Todd come out of the ground, come off the ground through the AFL to do a concussion assessment. Passed the concussion assessment, was fine. He went on a bit longer and he was just feeling a little bit off, so we just made, because of his history, we took a conservative approach. It was three-quarter time. We were sure that the game was going to be a little bit more around, not necessarily aerial dominance, it was going to be about a contest dominance.
When you say a little bit off, do you have to then maybe just test him over there?
Yeah, he'll be monitored closely because there's no chance we'd take any risks with Todd. He's got most recent history and he's got a bit of history. So,
What do you say to a kid who's maybe played 20 minutes of AFL footy?
sorry.
So with Will Lorenz, who might have played
sorry.
20 minutes, what do you say to a kid that you've now got to turn up for a
I knew he'd be okay. Like, he only played the 20 minutes or whatever it was, but Will's a really confident young fella, and he's played, unfortunately, he's had 2 games now. They've both been a sub, but I tell you what he did. He gave you a lot of confidence when I told him before the game, which was about 5:30 or something, I think, after Charlie. I said, "You're right?" He said, "Yeah, I'm right. Ready to go. Let's go. Go and have some fun." He was good.
Thanks, Ken.
So,
Thank you.